There are a lot of people out there who are actively trying to get their Kundalini awakened. And I cannot disagree with this more. If you are actively trying to get your Kundalini awakened, I strongly suggest you go to the Kundalini subreddit and look at all the horror stories that are there. Right? It sounds amazing. Like, I remember when I got my Kundalini activated, I was at a spiritual retreat, my first ever meditation retreat. And on the very last day, this shaman shows up, and we were eating lunch, and somebody had said, "Hey, today's Kundalini day." And I said, I thought, here's how new I was to it all. I thought Kundalini was an Italian dish, right? Like, hey, give me some Kundalini with the mozzarella, right? That's what I thought it was. And I said that to my friend, and he goes, "No, dude, it's not a dish. It's an energy. It's a spiritual energy that is inside of all of us. And when it wakes up, it goes through your system and it cleans out your system." That's how it was described to me. That is a very, very basic way of describing it. A lot of details were missed. So I thought, that sounds amazing. Now, I didn't do any research into it because at the retreat, I put my phone away, right? And this is from a trusted friend. So I trusted that it was right? And that sounded great. Clean out my system. I was all about getting to enlightenment as fast as possible, right? And when I laid down on the mat, she's playing loud music, and she's walking around, and she's screaming at people, pointing at their heads and also pointing at their lower chakra system, screaming into it. She screams once at me, and I felt a little bit of something. She works on other people. Comes back to me a second time. I could feel something rumbling at the base of my spine. And the third time that she comes back, she's going, "Rah!" She's screaming really, really, really loudly in my root chakra. And I screamed back at her, "Rah! What the fuck?" And then boom, it pops up in a fire. It didn't subtly come, it blasted open. And it was extremely painful. It was so painful that when everyone had left and I was filled with all this heat in my body, I had to take off my shirt. Everyone had left the meditation hall when it was all over, and I stayed behind, laying there, gasping for air, filled with heat, sweating, and filled with this ungodly pain in the base of my spine and in my root chakra. So I gathered myself, realizing, what the hell have I just done? I gathered myself, and no more I made it over to the dining hall. I could feel the energy go up, 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 up. Within an hour, it had made its way all the way to my third eye, and it stayed there ever since. It has never gone anywhere else. Now, as I explained in another video, my Kundalini has been, usually what it does is it wakes up at the base of the spine, and it works its way up through the system. It works out all the negative energetic blockages that are in your system, right? It starts at the base of the spine, and it's called the Serpent because it slithers its way up, okay? And it starts at the base, works its way up through the chakra system, cleaning things out, your traumas, your negative beliefs, right? It brings it forward to the surface because you can't hide from it. And the reason that this is like the most all-in way in spirituality, and what Sadhguru calls the most dangerous form of yoga, because it is. Because it's on its own time, cleans out your system in a harsh way. It will bring everything forward, and you have to feel it again. You have to. There's no other way around it. And it's painful. It's very painful. You can't do psychedelics anymore because you can only put pure things into your body. It will not, if you're going to be pure and cleaned out, it will not accept anything else. People have to change their diet. A lot of people go vegan on it. Some people have to take in certain meats. You got to adjust your diet based off of it. You have to take a lot of magnesium because it processes a ton of energy. If you do decide to take psychedelics, it's almost a guaranteed trip to the mental hospital, which happened to me. I didn't know any of this, okay? And I just took a couple hits of weed and took a small amount of MDMA. Next thing I know, I had the most crushing, awful energy in my head that made me go psychotic. Look up Kundalini psychosis, also called Kundalini syndrome. When you have not just a little bit of Kundalini going, a full-blown Kundalini awakening. When that cat is out of the bag, you can't put it back in, right? There's no exercising it out, and I mean like spiritual exorcism. There's just no way around it. You can't chant your way out of it, can't meditate your way out of it. It's now awakened. And it's all in divine timing. If it was supposed to awaken, it is meant to awaken, right? But if it does, your soul is on an all-in journey, and it will uproot your life, almost guaranteed. Now, my Kundalini, out of all the mentors, I have 24 mentors, okay? Out of all of them, they all have said it is the most extreme Kundalini that they've ever seen. Only one other person, one mentor, Barry, had said that he had seen one person worse than mine. And that's not like to say, ooh, look at me. It's more like, that's how extreme it has been for me. All the way up to the third eye, been there ever since. You can feel it. It's fire. It feels like an internal crown of thorns. Squeezing pressure. Point, like an acupressure mat squeezing against you. As it barrels through and burns through anything. It's just all the traumas. You can feel it. And you can feel it release. And it's on its own time. You don't know when it's going to happen. It could be days. It could be weeks. There's Kundalini purges. I once had an 8-hour Kundalini purge where I was vomiting and I couldn't walk and it was just burning in my head, right? Just trauma. Like, that's how intense this is. I've had hours-long ones. I've had a 3-day-long one. It also burns out karma. So in one particular session while I was in San Diego, it went into my system. I could feel it burning up, and it processed karma. It was related to something bad I had done to a former business partner of mine, and it was shady. It wasn't right. And it showed me that. It actually showed it to me. And it took 3 hours of processing that. And from the deepest part of my soul, I asked for forgiveness. And then when I did, it released it. And that karma was burned. So it will burn up every ounce of karma. This lifetime, previous lifetimes, it'll just do it. And the reason that I don't recommend it is because there's so many other ways to do it. For me, it's old tech, right? It's one way to do it. If you're all in person, your health, your mental health, your family, your job situation, all that be damned. You're like, I'm all in. I'll do whatever it takes, even though you have no idea what this is going to feel like, right? Sure. Go ahead. Try it. Right? You just don't know how it's going to go. Maybe it won't be that bad. Maybe it'll just be some intense Kundalini in the beginning. It won't be that bad. It gets better. But just know you're in for a ride, because it is, on average, the first 3 years are rough. Most people spend at least 7 to 10 years to get through the initial stages. And then it gets a little bit easier after that. It's a lifetime thing. There's bliss. There'll definitely be bliss. It will increase your meditative states, that's for sure. I think it had a large part in my samadhi experience, as well as many other experiences. But one of the other things that it does is I can't get as many transmissions as I want, because the transmissions don't act well with it. And I love my transmissions. And so it aggravates it intensely. There's no more psychedelics, because I used to go on these occasional psychedelic journeys for inner journeys. Blows you up. Go to the Kundalini subreddit. Look up the warning signs of all that it does. And all the things that you can no longer do. You have to clean your diet. You've got to change everything in your life. I was in a Kundalini support group once, and the guy had said, listen, if you have Kundalini going right now, don't change your job. Don't move to a new city. Don't make any major life decisions. I had done all three of those things. I was all alone in a city where I knew nobody, building a startup, and I was vomiting. I developed ulcers. Right? I had to have my gallbladder removed. It was so blocked up. It just completely, it is awful. It is awful. You get a lot of nightmares from it. Like yes, psychic abilities can come. Sure. Right? But there's a better way to do it. Transmissions. Do not get your Kundalini activated, because that used to be considered to be the fast track to enlightenment, one of the fast tracks to enlightenment. But now you've got access to transmissions from high-level healers who can do that for you. Okay? And yes, it's brutal, but it's not everlasting. It's not round the clock all the time. And so now, out of all of my mentors, the 24 or so, about 70% had Kundalini, has Kundalini. So that says something, right? That the most enlightened people I know have gone through Kundalini. Now, with that said, 30% of them didn't. And only one of them didn't have a brutal Kundalini. All right, because it wasn't that bad. The rest of them had said it's pretty goddamn brutal. And it uplifts everything in your life. So go the transmission route. Now, you don't know if the Kundalini is going to wake up inside of you, right? You just don't get a Kundalini activation process like I did. It's recommended that you get a guru. You spend years practicing and getting the energy to work up in your system under the guidance of a guru, someone who knows a lot about Kundalini. And knowing that you have support in your vicinity to guide you through the entire process, because this is decades long, right? And so you can also read the book by Gopi Krishna. Just read Gopi Krishna's book. Just look up that name, and you can see how brutal it can be. He couldn't eat. He thought he was going to die many times. He was confused as to what was going on. He lost a lot of weight. His wife almost left him. It's brutal. That's my favorite story in Kundalini. There's many, many, many others like that, but he just so happens to be one of the famous ones. Research it before you do this, okay? Yes, it has given me a lot of gifts. I have reached bliss. I have reached higher states of consciousness because of it. But I also think those higher states of consciousness were because I was doing transmissions, which again, do not mix well with the Kundalini. If I could go back and do it again, even though there are no mistakes, I would not have done the Kundalini. It has ruined so much of my life. Made me non-functional on many days, right? Mental hospital visit. Don't do it, right? It is not worth it. Get transmissions. That'll process your subconscious faster than anything else, and you can do it on your own time, right? Anyways, that is my warning story for Kundalini, and please don't do it. Please don't. Leave a comment down below if you think otherwise, or tell me about your Kundalini experience. I'd love to hear about it. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck on the journey.